Hello, today we're going to be looking at seasonality. So, seasonality refers to the time of year when the food we buy is at its best. So, either in terms of flavour or when it's harvested to be at its freshest. So, for example, in the UK, we grow strawberries in the summertime when we've got hot, sunny weather, and so strawberries would be in season in the summer. In the winter time, usually that's when your granny might be making her a vegetable soup, and that is because lots of root vegetables come into season during the winter months, like potatoes and carrots and turnips, etc. Here's a short video I'm just going to play for you just now.
We have quite a blurred view of seasonal food, and being a farmer as well as a chef, obviously I grow food, so I see seasons are very important to me because obviously part of my work process. I think we have very blurred. There's lots of supplies of things like, for example, strawberries all the year round. So sometimes we don't actually take what's in season and really embrace it. And I think we're not just transporting food, we're also transporting water, because a lot of this food that comes into this country is packed on ice. So we're taking water from people who don't have very much water. So it's all kind of quite jumbled up, and I think we eventually will pay the price. I'm not an environmentalist, I don't really understand the full impacts of it, but all I know is that we will pay the price sometime down the line. The benefits of eating seasonal and as locally as possible is that we support, not only do we support the British food producers and British agriculture, but we actually get food in its absolute prime and also quite cheaply as well, because if you eat in season, there's an abundance. So the price is incredibly good. So if you're in a work situation like a restaurant and you're using seasonal food, obviously your profit margin is much higher, and which is obviously why people are in business. But also your guests are getting the absolute best food at the right season, and all the foods go together. So now we're getting game, but we'll have root vegetables coming in that go so well with it. We've got the elderberries on the trees. So it all, nature knows what it's doing, and sometimes we try and alter that, but actually we're not right if we do. I think that in this country we are lucky because we have seasons, and that makes very defined sort of classes on our food, really. And if people try to stick to those seasons, I think they'd probably enjoy the food a lot better.
So, as foods can be imported, that means that our foods are going to be available to us all year round. So that is when you go to the supermarket and you're able to get strawberries at Christmas time, even though they aren't in season. We would import them from places like Spain. But when you buy local and seasonal food, it tends to be cheaper and fresher because we don't have to take into consideration the transportation or storage time from farm to fork. So there is less food miles due to there being less transportation of our local and seasonal produce that we have managed to grow here. So what are the advantages of that? So if consumers are aware of the seasonality of foods, then more locally grown produce could be bought, and that would cut down on food miles and carbon emissions. So if I was an environmentally cautious consumer, I would probably be more inclined to choose foods that are seasonal and local to me, because I know that I'm cutting down on carbon emissions that would affect my ozone layer. Another one is buying in season from local producers helps to support the local economy. So we're keeping our farmers in business and our local farmers markets. And also buying seasonal food from farmers markets allows consumers to speak to the producer and find out more about the products on sale. So if you were interested about where we get our food from, which is something that now more and more people are doing nowadays, then farmers markets where you go to the actual producers of these foods would be there so that you could ask questions and find out. So some questions for us. A new restaurant is opening in town. Explain why buying local and seasonal foods would be beneficial for a restaurant. So every question we know tells us three things. Thing one is the command word, and here you need to look for it. It's not the start, but it is explain. In my head, right away, ding, 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 explain tells me I need a fact and a consequence in every answer. The second thing is the mark allocation. In this case, it is 2. Therefore, I need 2 facts and consequences to make sure that I get all 2 marks allocated here. And the third thing is what I need to refer back to in my question. So I need to make sure that I am linking back how it's going to be beneficial for the restaurant. So this would take you 5 minutes. So if you want to pause this just now, give yourself 5 minutes to answer this question. Here are some perfect answers. We've got local seasonal foods tend to be fresher and cheaper as there is less transportation time and cost from farm to fork. And consequence, this will make the food they sell less expensive, so more consumers will want to eat in the restaurant. I've bolded that word restaurant here so that it is clearly indicating that it's linking back to the question. And last, buying seasonal foods from a farmer's market allows consumers to speak to the producer to find out more about the products on sale. This means the restaurant can give customers more information about the food that they are serving, which could be appealing to them. And that's us.